Coast to Coast RIA presents The Expert's Corner with Pete Asmus. Now get ready to go make something happen, because in this series, it's all about actionable information with different experts, strategies, and solutions from around the country. You won't be able to help but catapult your life into a new direction. So get ready, because we are about to begin.
And now from coast to coast, your host, Pete Asmus.
All right, so here we are, March 4th. This is really the very first Experts Corner that we're kind of doing. So welcome, everybody, to our very first one. And on the very first one that we're having, that's really based off of the Experts Corner that I wanted to create, that's starting on Tuesdays now. This is the only Tuesday where it's really going to be on at 4. From now on, it's going to be on at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure that every Tuesday you can tune in. Next week, I think we're going to have Justin on talking about SEO. But this week, we've got Jean Norton. And I'm really excited to have her on, because we're going to be going over all the stuff that it takes to rehab remotely. Like, what kind of free tools can we actually use, right? And that it's effective. Because are there a ton of free tools out there? Absolutely. Are they all good? No. And you've also got to know what to use, right? As far as the free tools go, what aspect of them do you use? What do you trust? What do you not worry about? Because there's a lot of junk in there too, if that makes sense. So we're going to get into a lot of that different stuff. We've got Jean Norton here. She's been doing this for years, literally. And her big thing is rehabbing remotely. So I wanted to talk to you guys, bring her on. We're going to be talking about acquisitions in Atlanta as well, which is going to be our field training, or not field training, our buying tour, really, that's coming up, where you could literally come with us and watch us buy properties and get involved if you want, not get involved if you want. It's absolutely up to you, but this is an actionable information trip, which means on day 3, we are putting out offers. Now, if you want to come and fly out there and learn everything and get excited and then not pull the trigger still, I don't know what to say to that. That's just dumb to me. I mean, we want you to be involved. The reason we're doing this type of trip is because I've never seen anything like it. And I want you guys to start taking action. And I know the biggest fear is, well, what is a really good deal? Well, if we're getting in on it, right, then you would think that would be a good deal. Most of the time you go on these trips and everybody wants to train you and teach you. And here's a house. You want to buy the house? And you're like, I don't know. Is it a good house? And the reality is, well, what are you buying out here? No, I can't buy anything because you guys are buying anything and I don't want to compete with you. Look, man, I've played that game, and then you guys don't do anything, and now we lost the deal. So that doesn't work for me at all. So we're going to go out there and we're going to bring deals to the table that we're going to pull the trigger on, show you why we're pulling the trigger. And if you want to get involved in that, bam, get involved. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that now. We can get into that later. I don't know why I went into that little freak out session, but I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about some of the other things and opportunities that we have coming up, and just some really cool stuff. So with that, though, Jean Norton's with me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very well. Are you having fun today?
I'm having great fun today.
Okay, good. Can you explain? I know that we've probably got people. Actually, there's probably people that from your group that don't know who I am, and probably people from my group who don't know who you are. So let's kind of go over both of those real quick. I'll give you a little bit of background on me. My name is Pete Asmus. I am the CEO. I'm not CEO. I am the visionary pit bull and the co-founder of Coast to Coast RIA, or Real Estate Investment Association. We have 34 chapters in 16 states with over 10,000 members. So we do a radio show every day, Monday through Friday, from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific. You can tune into that at c2cria.com/live. And I've been teaching real estate, doing real estate for just over probably 8 years now. I've worked for Armando Montalongo. I've worked for Robert Allen. I've worked for the guys from Flipping Boston. I've worked for a ton of different gurus. And at one point I just figured, you know what? I'm done helping other people fulfill their dreams, but then take other people's dreams away to get there. And what I mean by that is I felt like there was always a lot of promises made at the front of the 3 days, right? But then when it came time to deliver, it was like, poof, okay, where did everybody go? I don't understand. They wanted to talk to me so bad when they needed the money, but then as soon as you paid them, right, they were gone. And so we wanted to create different scenarios. In fact, again, and I'm going to just pull into acquisitions in action in Atlanta, the reason we're doing that the way that we're doing that is so that it is different, to show you that there are, oh man, now I don't even know what I was going to say. I got really excited there and I got off on a tangent.
You're going to prove that you can make money doing real estate.
Yes, and most of the people, they would tell you, oh, that's what it was. They would tell you what it takes to happen. They'd get you, it'll only take 3 months. It'll only take 3 weeks, right? Do this, and then they're out there for 3 days to mentor you, right? And then as soon as the 3 days is gone, like I said, poof, right? Everybody's gone. It's like, what the hell just happened? How did here? Hold on, I'll show you what it's like. The RPGs? It's like this. They just crashed. They crashed over there. That's where that happened. But they're gone. And so the reason that we're doing April in Atlanta the way we're doing it is because if you want to have a mentorship, right? Let's get in a deal together, because now we're committed to each other in a deal. You're going to learn what it takes to make whatever we're doing happen. If you want to get in cash flow, if you want to get in flipping, but it's not going to be 3 days and you're gone. It's going to be, this is going to take 3 months, 4 months, and we're going to be together on that. And what I found is, when you do a deal like that and then everybody walks away with a check at the end, they want to do that more. See, that's what happens, is they want to keep doing it, right? As opposed to me paying you and you're going to teach me how to do it, and then you leave and now I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I've made no money. I don't want to do anything else. I'm scared. I don't do real estate, and now nothing happens. You know what I mean? And these are some of the different ways that we're going to combat those issues and those challenges that we saw and that I saw. And so that's why I got into it. And I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but I don't know. I think it's important to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Not just what we're doing, but why we're doing it. Because look, at the end of the day, why you do what you do is what dictates the actions that you take in the future and under stress and in any situation, right? If I'm doing this just for money, then if the money's not there, I'm gone. But I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I truly love doing it. We do the daily videos because we love doing them. I'm not getting paid to do those. I'm not getting paid to do these webinars. We're not getting paid to do a lot of things that we're doing. Well, I always say webinars thinking Ivan in mind, and this is a webinar too. So, but all those different things we give away for free because we want to provide access. We want to provide information so people can make better decisions and get into deals because they're educated, not because they're overwhelmed. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, perfect. Jean, you go ahead and do your here. I'll give you the intro. And now, Jean Norton. Okay, now you're up.
Hi, Pete. Thanks a lot. I am so delighted to have hooked up with you guys and taking what I know and what I've learned and bringing it to the next level. I've been investing for 5 years, and when I started investing, I was blogging about my experience. And in fact, the first 2.5 years, I have an ebook. It's just nothing but my diary of what happened my first 2.5 years of real estate investing, and I give that away for free. Just like you, I blog, I share, I have weekly support calls. We sometimes have somebody that's interesting to talk about, or sometimes it's just an open question and answer call. So that's Jean Norton, real estate investor and storyteller.
And you're at jeannorton.com, right?
Jean at jeannorton.com, or just jeannorton.com.
Yeah, just where people could find your, again, and I just want to make sure that we're cross platforms and that everybody can go, okay, well, now I want to know more information, right? Where could I get more? And that's where they can go.
And I've been holding field trips. I started this just like you said. You go to a seminar and they make you these promises, and then they get the money. Boom! Where'd everybody go? I can't get a deal. Yeah, and I had suffered that too. I wasn't able to get a deal. I didn't know what to do, what's going on, and I guess I don't know what it was. I just thought outside the box. What can I do that's different to actually get a deal? And I did. I stepped out of the area where there were 50 billion investors coming, and by the time, I started in California, Southern California, and then I started doing some deals in hold on just a second, I'll show my screen.
Yes, I passed it to you.
That's okay. And so then I started doing deals in Bakersfield. And, finally I heard people saying, I can't get a deal, I can't get a deal. I had like 7 deals going at the same time. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to hold a field trip. I had an awesome contractor. I had a great agent. And that's how it all started. They went to a field trip. I introduced them to everybody. I realized that there was plenty of opportunities for everybody. And, once it starts getting competitive, this is my motto. If real estate isn't working for you, you either have to change your strategy or change your location. And sure enough, my strategy wasn't working anymore in California. And as it is now, it's a pretty slim market, right? And it's hard to find really good deals there. You can still find them. You might have to implement some other strategies. And, so I just started looking in other places. And so that's my story. I depend a lot on the internet to find deals. And I remember one of my first real estate classes, the teacher said, I don't even look at a house until I get the deal. Shocked. But the reality is I don't look at a house, and sometimes I don't even see the house, and it gets rehabbed and it gets sold, and I never saw the house. So, I realize that people have to get to some level of comfort in order to do that. I'm not saying that everybody should be comfortable right from the beginning. My first deal, I did go out to California, and I probably spent 10 days there until I felt really comfortable that things were going well. So that's okay. But now that I've more and more experienced, I'm more comfortable just, not even seeing the deals. I have every confidence I could continue to do that.
Well, and it's working with a team longer. The longer you work with the team, the more you work with the team, right? The more you're going to understand them. And you're going to see where their break points are, what they can do, what they can't do, and, end up putting together more teams usually is how it works. And, and I think that's a really good point too, though, to dig into. Should you only have one contractor?
Oh man, you can't have enough contractors. You can't have enough hard money lenders. You can't have enough agents. You keep the doors open.
There you go. So meaning instead of the word can't, that I would snap your wristband right now if I was sitting next to you, you would say you want as many contractors as you could have. You want as many realtors as you could have. Well, not as many realtors necessarily, but the hard money lenders and all that type of thing. That you always want to have more, because the more options you have. Look, you when you get a house and you have an opportunity to make a move on a house, right? How long do you have, Jean? Do you have 3-4 weeks, 5 weeks?
No, you got to act fast. You see the opportunity, bam.
So if you need to have a contractor go out and give you a quote, if you only have one contractor and he's over on your house 5 hours away or whatever it is, you know what I mean, working on it, can you have him pulled off the job constantly to be looking at new ones?
Nope.
So
you find another one. You get
references. You have to have multiple ones, and you have to have backups for those, right? Because is there a time when they're going to be, they don't have the time to go out that day? So again, it takes having multiple power team members that you can pull from and that you can utilize, right?
Exactly. Now, we've talked about this before. There are some locations that work really well for me and some locations that really don't. And I take the risk. I find a deal, I go by the numbers. And if I find a deal that's got a good spread, I'll try it. For example, Capitol Heights, Maryland. I did a deal in Maryland, and I had the hardest time trying to get somebody to go out and check out the property for me, to get contractors without, just asking for references. They wanted money.
Your hand was out.
To get a reference. I'm like, man, I am not going to have a field trip here. It just doesn't align with my whatever personality or culture or ethics or ideas of, doing business. And then I go to Chicago or Atlanta or Miami or Florida. Really, in fact, I've been very pleased with the response I get in Florida. And I'm, it's when people are there helping each other, everybody wins.
Right. And you know what? That's a really good point that, again, the reason that I wanted to put Atlanta together was because I wanted to put all these people that thought the same way I did in the same room. Because again, one of the things that's going to be hugely different about that training, as opposed to any other training that I've ever been to, is that we will all be up on stage almost the entire time. I mean, every single one of us is going to be up there answering questions and going over different strategies, pulling out a property and going, well, what would you do, Gene? Well, what would you do, Scott? Well, what would you do, Keith? Well, what would you do, Ivan? And you know what I mean? And you're going to get all these different aspects of all these different solutions to the same problem, showing you how many ways there are to skin a cat. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
And realizing the bigger point is realizing that you have access to all these people once you leave the training. Like, there, you have everybody's email. You have the ability to call them, to get into whatever, you know what I mean? And I think that's what's so I don't know, just cool that the whole panelist thing and having everybody up there and being able to ask questions and the audience being able to ask questions and not feel like their question is dumb or you know what I mean?
Right. There's no fear for, don't have any fear for asking questions. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's the questions as simple as ARV, which is after repair value.
Unless you say, what is real estate? And then I'm going to smack you first.
Yeah. But, what am I doing here? I don't.
Yeah, exactly. How did I get here?
And actually, I really can't wait to get into this presentation because I do analyze, I do a deep dive analysis of some properties and even talk about the different exit strategies that could be done. And
whoa.
And one of the.
There we go. That's the doorbell. You know who's at the door?
Who?
Your presentation.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. So am I, can everybody see my presentation?
It says deep dive into Atlanta, baby. March 4th.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Now we invited. What was that?
I was saying thank you to Andy because he said yes, and Rhonda. Both of them said yes. And we have like 45 people on here right now, so this is awesome.
Oh, sweet. Well, I'm glad you guys made it. I'm glad you guys had some time to get on here because this is really a very unique program, and I'm just so excited. And it's not just Pete or me. We've got Ivan, who's a just very experienced real estate investor. We've got Scott, who's another experienced real estate investor with a contracting background. Mm-hmm. And we've got Keith, who's an expert realtor. And plus we're still got a lot of other really good people that want to help, and so I'm really looking forward to this. But I wanted to give you guys...
people asking us to come on this. Lawyers, I mean CPA, like they want to come and be involved, and they're like, man, I want to be out there too. I want to, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty cool to be able to look through lawyers that are coming to us and be able to look through them and go, well, we're going to go this way. And
I know. We're arguing about which land trust expert to come with us. Because I'm a strong supporter of land trusts. So. Well,
I don't know if you heard today's show.
I didn't. I'm sorry I missed it.
Woo, man. I am a very strong supporter of land trust now, too. I
use land trust every time.
By Clint Coons, who is on there today, and we talked to him. He's a land trust expert, and it was nuts, man. I mean, the stuff that he was talking about was crazy, the way that he was saying doing it. And it made so much sense. And he really worded something well. He said, there's a lot of people out there that will teach you how to do asset protection. And he's like, I think that's great. And sometimes they're absolutely 100%. That will absolutely work with asset protection. Now go fund the deal. Because you're not going to get it funded. You can do that all day long, but nobody's going to underwrite it. And I never thought about it like that. You know what I mean? And that's where I was like, okay, now I really get land trust. Now I really get it. Like, not only is it a cool asset protection thing, but it allows you to push through funding, which is
exactly,
man, awesome.
I borrowed money using land trusts. I use land trusts exclusively at this point. The power.
That's what he was saying. It doesn't make sense not to. It doesn't make sense not to do a land trust on every single deal.
Exactly. And I do. And I create a new land trust for every single deal. And the power is incredible. And you can say, Pete, now you got it. No, even when you think you got it, as you move forward, you're going to realize the real power behind it. And we're going to talk about that. And that's one of the tools that I use on every single property. And I suspect we'll be doing in Atlanta as well.
I am so excited for this. Yes. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so I know I've been interrupting the hell out of you, and I told you to plan for 90 minutes, and we're going to take 4 hours the way I'm talking like a little girl.
Yeah. Okay, again, this webinar is for you if you can't get a real estate deal with profitable spreads in your area, or if you want to double, triple, or quadruple your profits. You can leverage other locations, and if you are doing well where you are, that's fine. But let's double, triple, quadruple your results by not being afraid to go outside of your city limits and go into the other areas. Or if you just want to grow your otherwise useless IRA. And I hear that from a lot of people that got an IRA and it's not doing anything. So those questions will be answered. It is time to expand your horizon. I have absolutely no problem going outside my state lines if the numbers make sense. And I do that. I've got deals in Chicago. I've got deals in Florida. I'm going to have some deals in Atlanta. And really, there's a lot of key places where there's still tremendous profit spreads and profit potentials.
So
Now,
now
there are some,
you
yeah,
you live in Texas, right?
I live in Austin, Texas. Yes.
Okay, so here's the interesting part. When you started remotely because you were talking about
I did.
Bakersfield is where you started. So
Well,
this
I
has never
started
been a
in
real
Riverside.
challenge for you to get outside of your comfort zone when it
You
comes to
know,
remote.
I didn't know not to be scared, really. I mean, when you think about it, my first deal was in Riverside, and that's because that's where the numbers were, that's where the profits were, that's where the opportunities
That's where
were.
Armando was. That's why you were in Riverside, because he had a bunch of properties that he was holding there. Which again leads back to exactly why we're doing Atlanta, right? I mean, I'm literally copying what Armando did in Riverside in Atlanta. We went, okay, let's find a market that we can do and replicate his system because it was brilliant. I mean, he went in there 2 years before he brought students in there. We're bringing everybody in at the same time, right? And that was kind of my thing is why not let everybody in on the same process? Look, we're going to go to Atlanta because you can hold properties there and cash flow them. That's fantastic. But here's the other cool thing. In that same neighborhood, we can flip properties, which means that we can hold on to this one, cash flow it, and then flip, 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 and drive the market up. And now this property that we've been cash flowing is now worth way up here. And we did that. And here's the even more crazy thing that it just seems like it doesn't get better, but we're making money doing it. We're making money flipping the property so that we can drive the real profit and equity into the hold property. And to me, that's what makes this so crazy because there's going to be people that need money right now. And that's cool. We're going to be able to help them in the flips. There are going to be people that go, I don't need money right now. I'm looking for the long term. Great. They can come in and partner with us on the holds. And why do both people want to be around us? Well, one, look, the flips, are those complicated? Can you make mistakes? Is there challenges involved with what is a flip? Absolutely. Now, with a hold, okay, well, what's the challenge with the hold then, Pete? Because once we put somebody in, that's it, right? You don't have to what? You don't have to manage the property? What? You don't have to worry about tenants? You don't have to, I mean, there's a ton of other things. So us putting in place both of these things allows everybody to win in the same process. And they understand that they're getting involved and we are in the game too. You know what I mean? So it's not like we're going, yeah, this is a great system. Here you go. You take that and see you later. Bye. Here you go. There's a house. See you later. Bye. And now it's your problem, right? And they go, well, hey, you should have done your own due diligence. If
Yeah.
we're involved, believe me when I tell you that I care about not losing money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it just makes sense, right? Sorry, I got all excited.
Yep. Okay. All right. So when you're looking at rehabbing remotely, I avoid hyperactive markets with slim margins. And that's what I call California right now, especially Southern California. It is a hyperactive market. There are slim margins. Rehabbing remotely is not a good place for that right there, because if the margins are that slim, it really is important that you're there watching everything. And timing is critical. And everybody has to know that timing is critical. However, if you choose a different area and have good profit spreads, you can have that kind of maybe a hiccup where there's a little delay. Whereas you can't afford that in Austin, Texas, and Southern California. And so that's what I look for. And another thing that I really recommend people do is read the news, find out what's going on in the housing market, anticipate future demands. And, when you hear things like, oh, the credit markets are loosening up, you think, oh, gee, well, do you think they'll give me a loan now? And, just be open to whatever's going on and adapt. Network, both in person and online. Even though I haven't done a deal in Austin in a long time, I still go to my weekly networking mastermind meeting, and people do deals together. There's great learnings. We share so much stuff. And same thing with online, with Facebook, with all of the other internet social media tools. I mean, network, be authentic, share. It's amazing how much information you get and learn in this business.
And it's amazing how many people, when you really come to the party to play and you actually come wanting to learn, wanting to give information, wanting to be involved, I guess is a better term, then people are going to want to help. I want to help people that want to help themselves, period. I put out there right now that in Southern California, I'm working on development of a TV show. Literally had a conversation again today, and I was talking to Jean about it, and it's like, this is crazy to me. And they found me through the different things that I'm doing, like Jean's talking about, through my Instagram, through my YouTube videos, through all of that stuff. They found me. But I put out there that, look, I'm willing to help somebody flip a house. If you're in Southern California and you have a problem right now, or anything, or you want to flip a house, you're in Southern California, I'm down to help this, because we want to get this process going. And so that when the opportunity is there, and when the TV show goes, you know what, let's see what's going on, we actually have things going, because everything I have is out of state right now. All of our stuff is out of state. Like, if they want to come see something, it's like, all right, well, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Indy? Do you want to go to KC? Do you want to go to Phoenix? Where would you like to fly to right now? So I'm focused on getting something done here, but I don't want to push a rope. So I'm not saying I'm going to help somebody who's not going to help themselves. They've got to be involved in it. They've got to do something. They've got to find the property. They've got to do, you know what I mean? There's got to be action involved from them, because I don't need to hand somebody else money just for fun. I want to teach people how to make something happen and change their trajectory, change their life by giving them a new direction. You know what I mean? By giving them a new tool.
Right. And sometimes, learning together. In fact, Pete, we were just talking about earlier today about what bonus to give away later on today for the people that register for the Atlanta buying trip. And it was that bouncing ideas off of like 3 or 4 of us. And we ended up with some just killer bonuses, which I'll announce at the end of the presentation.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? You mean that everybody that you said that goes, hey, I've got something, and then we all ended up saying and giving something in, so that there's like 5 things that they get now if they do this before Friday? I don't know. I don't know if that was like if it was bouncing ideas off, or hey, you know what? These are awesome. They'll love these, and you just kind of roped everybody into to giving more, which is awesome, and I applaud you for making that happen. That was very smart.
And that's just another one of those networking things. I mean, at this point, with the social media, especially with the rehabbing remotely or wholesaling remotely, or being virtual or whatever, because of the social media, I can reach out to, gee, do I know anybody that lives in, West Florida? Oh yeah, I do. And I'll just reach out to them and say, hey, I'm getting a deal in that area. Do you mind going by and checking it out for me? That's why the networking is just so important. So, okay, so let me get back.
The thing is, also, why would they want to do that? Why would a wholesaler want to look at a deal that you might be getting wholesaled? Because they might be able to get involved in it, right? And
exactly.
I think that's the big key.
When I wholesale, and we're going to go into this in Atlanta, a whole bunch, but when I wholesale, not in my area, I'll even call all wholesalers. I'll pay $2,500 to the person that can bring me a cash buyer.
Why not? See, it's all about not being greedy. You don't have to make $1 million off of one person. You can make $10 off of 1 million people, and that's a much better result, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? I just, again, it's the whole thing. And, going back to the Atlanta thing, when people are asking, well, what about the price, and what about this, and what about that? It's a deposit. It's a deposit towards a deal. You're not paying for the education. What you're saying is look, I'm committed to coming out there, and this is a deposit, so that when I joint venture in a deal with you guys, that money gets applied towards the deal, or you get it on the flip, you get it in the profit. You know what I mean? So the reality is if you get involved, if you take action, if you're doing what we're doing, then you're going to benefit even more. It's going to be even more of a benefit to you, because I don't know. I think that's so awesome. And I don't know, again, I don't know people that are doing what we're doing. We make things.
I don't know anybody that does this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I know. I'm sorry. I just get excited.
You just said, why charge $20,000 for a seminar when I can make $20,000 doing a real estate deal with somebody?
And then they come back and I get to do it again and again and again.
Yeah. So, okay, well, let's get back to the webinar on what I'm going to cover. So there are, I'm going to show you how I research the profit potentials from, step 1. We're going to talk about the critical steps when wholesaling and renovating properties in other cities, and the catastrophes to avoid. And this is an important thing, and I really want everybody that lends money to people to know to do this from here on out, and that is how to safely joint venture with others for your mutual success. So we're going to go over all of that. Okay, who am I? Well, we've already been through a lot of this, but these are some of the areas that I've been investing. Right now, I'm still in a buying mode. I currently have 2 in Florida, 1 in Chicago. I've blogged since 2009 at jeannorton.com. I've had field trips since 2011. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I say that I'm pretty much unemployable. I started out as a technical consultant and then went into software product management. I owned a retail store. And so now I'm doing real estate and internet marketing. So these are the tools you're going to see. Now, Realty Trac, it's not really free, but there is a 7-day free trial if you want to use it. I find it tremendously valuable for me. You may or may not like it or may not need it if you just know where you want to head and move forward. Zillow, ListingBook. And ListingBook is free, but it's better if you can find a realtor that will give you an account. Google, of course, and then spotcrime.com. Those are the tools that you're going to see. Okay, the 3 hazards to avoid, the 3 catastrophes to avoid. When you're looking at properties, you pretty much want to avoid railroad tracks. You want to stay away from the commercial areas and certainly drive-by shootings.
So all 3 of those are recommended then, the drive-by shootings as well?
Yeah, avoid.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
avoid.
Just making
Okay.
sure.
All right. Now, railroad tracks. Now, there's an exception to everything. The problem with railroad tracks, you're going to have a longer time on the market, and you're going to have to lower your price to make it more attractive. Nobody likes to listen to the railroads going by in the middle of the trains going by the middle of the night. Now, there are some exceptions, like in Chicago, if you're near a commuter train stop, that's a good thing. So you have to understand. What was that?
New York too, subways?
I have never studied New York, but I would think, if you're near a subway stop.
Oh man, public transportation's huge there. Yeah.
Yeah. In Chicago, public transportation is huge. Something went wrong in Southern California, but.
Well, no, because we're now doing this light rail project where it's going to take like 45 minutes to get from California to New York or something. I don't know where the thing goes like 4,000 miles an hour. I'm not sure what we're doing here.
Yeah. So commercial areas. The reason to avoid commercial areas is it becomes a gathering point for wanderers. That can be schools, apartments, any kind of retail stores. You generally want to avoid those areas. That's where most of the crime occurs.
For wanderers?
Yeah, wanderers. Yeah, loiterers. Yeah.
Wanderers.
Yeah. Now here's a screenshot from spotcrime.com. This is a zip code in Chicago. And I don't know if you can see those little red targets. Those are recent shootings. I kind of...
Are the FIST recent fights, and then the dudes in the little black masks, those are robberies? Spray paint? Get out! And then what are the handcuffs?
Those are arrests.
Walking? Is that somebody jaywalking? If they jaywalk, then they get in trouble?
I have no idea. Really, I only worry.
Spray paint can, though. That is funny, man. I have never seen that. That cracks me up.
Yeah, spotcrime.com. Pretty much, I've been investing in the south side of Chicago, and, there's some areas that are good and some areas that aren't good. And if you really want to know if you're in a good area, check this. I mean, I can tell you this particular area is not very good. And, it doesn't, some people say, avoid East Austin, or, avoid South Chicago. The reality is there's some good money to be made in South Chicago. You just want to make sure that it's not where there's all the drive-by shootings. Because for me, I want my contractor to feel safe going there to do their work. But, a little crime here and there, it's everywhere.
All right. So I think, James, you've asked us a couple times about land trusts being recommended in both California and Georgia. Land trusts are recommended in all 50 states. And again, if you want to know more from a legal standpoint, you can listen to today's show. I know Gene's going to talk a little bit more about it tonight as well. But every single state, you definitely want to use land trusts on every single state, every single property, Hold on real quick. Look, our land, wait, I already asked that one. Magnavelli? Magnetic levitation. Yeah, there you go. Never mind. Go ahead. You keep going. Yes, James, that's right.
Okay, so why Atlanta? Well, it is the #1 relocation city, and I've verified this myself. And more moving vans and moving vehicles are going into Atlanta than any other city. It still has bite-sized prices, and I like that. I just tend to like.
Real quick, you just said a really, really, really good point. You said more moving trucks and moving vans are going into Atlanta than are what? Going out of, right?
Exactly.
And it's got more moving, and that's huge because you can actually use, and I don't know, I remember looking at, I think it was Atlas Van Company or Van Lines or something that I got a report. Have you gotten any of those kind of reports?
That's what this is based on.
Then there you go. And I mean, that is something awesome where it literally shows you where they're taking all these things. And you can even cross-reference that with some other stuff. Do you ever use John Burns's site where you
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you going to get into that, or is that later?
No, I just have respect for him, and I love reading his newsletters.
He's awesome, right?
Yeah.
You know that he also has research tools on there too.
I did not know that. I just read his newsletters. I thought he was California based.
No, it's okay. You know what? You go ahead and you do what you're going to do, and then when you're done, I'm going to pull the presentation back, and I'll show you some really cool stuff as well.
Okay.
I promise you'll love it.
Okay. Then I'm going to. There are a lot more tools also that I like that I just haven't mentioned. I just wanted to bring the highest and the most important tools.
Sure.
Atlanta still has a lot of distressed homes. I mean, they got hit pretty hard, real hard with the downturn. And there was a time that man, nobody was buying anything. So the other thing, the opportunities in Atlanta, Peter's already said, both to rehab and resell or to rehab to rent. And I think it's really important to have both types of properties in your portfolio. The rental numbers, the rental ratios are at better than the 1% rule. The 1% rule is that if you can rent something at $1,000 a month, the purchase price should be about $100,000. And we are seeing, you can buy something and be all in at $75,000, and the rental still be at about $1,300 a month. So those are good ratios. And of course, the foreclosed prices are significantly lower than the retail prices. Okay, this is one of the reasons I like Realty Trac, especially when I'm starting to investigate a new area. And you guys are watching me like right from the beginning. They came to me and said, "Hey, let's do Atlanta." And I said, "Well, let me look into Atlanta." And of course, then I agreed. But these are some of the tools that I looked at to really hone in on, why Atlanta. This is Realty Trac. It's a free 7-day trial. And what this shows is the difference between the foreclosed sales price and the median sales price. And this is one of the rare locations where you can get like a 60% discount on foreclosures. You can see, you can buy it under $100,000 and sell at $250,000. Now, of course, this encompasses the whole. That's actually Fulton County, the whole county where Atlanta is in the center. And it also gives you some nearby cities, little neighborhoods, Alpharetta, Roswell, etc. And then you can see, here's one little one, Palmetto, with a 60% foreclosure discount too. Atlanta is one of those cities that has a lot of counties around it. Here's Cobb County, which is northwest, and the prices are a little bit higher, and there's a little bit slimmer margin, but there's a lot of reasons that I like Cobb County. It's got really good schools. I mean, there's other factors that I look into. So I think Cobb County is going to be one of the places that we're really going to look into pretty heavily. And you can see some of these sales: Marietta, Smyrna, Kennesaw. I love all those places. And you're getting some good discounts in those places. So this is how I know where to focus and where to zero in. Dekalb County is on the east side of Atlanta, and here we see some good profit spreads as well from Realty Trac. Again, Decatur, a 48% discount. Stone Mountain is not that much of a discount. Tucker, a few other little towns. It just allows me to do a deep dive into, which areas are going to give me the best discounts. Here's Zillow. This is just really a phenomenal free tool. And I know a lot of people kind of poo-poo Zillow, and I can say don't do that, because if you put in the right filters, you can get some incredible data. And in this case, here's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath homes, which according to our realtor is the highest demand for that area for the people that are moving into Atlanta. And you can filter what it is, what it is you're looking for. You can filter price range, you can filter, bedroom size, etc. But I chose the last 30 days. What has closed in the last 30 days? And you can see all these little yellow houses, and it's like every place but Atlanta city proper. So Dekalb County, which is to the east, Cobb County, which is the northwest, have a lot of activity. So there's a lot of end user demand for that, for those locations.
And
here's another.
Why is that good?
Oh, because when you're finished with your houses and you list it, it'll sell quickly. Short days on market.
Because that's where everybody's buying, right?
This is what has sold in the last 30 days.
Okay, good. Because
So
that's what I think people need to understand that when you see that, the reason that's important is because that shows you that you buying there, that you're going to be able to sell there as long as you meet certain criteria, right?
Right. And we go into that on the trip, what is the criteria? Every city has got different criteria of what you need. I know in Bakersfield, all I had to do was just clean it up and it would sell. In Chicago, I have to just rehab it to the max, put all the bells and whistles and shiny objects in there, and then it'll sell. It's true. It pisses me off sometimes, but it's true. Okay, so here's another Zillow picture of the solds, and this is just the 2-bedroom, 1-bath. So I was saying, okay, well, maybe just Atlanta proper doesn't have 4-bedroom, 3-baths, so let me get a closer look at the 2-bedroom, 1-baths, because, that's kind of more, that would happen in an inner city area. But if you look at this, Atlanta is actually on the left side, and there's a line there that's like a major highway, and you can see a lot more activity on that other side of the highway. So there's a little pocket there that seems to have more activity and more desirable as evidenced by the sales in the last 30 days right there. So I know to look for that. This is how it is on one highway makes the difference on everything, and this is a prime example. And this all comes from Zillow, a free tool, and I'm looking at this from Austin, Texas. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so this is at the high level. Why is it I like Atlanta? And, where do I want to go? Where am I going to go? And those were the free tools to look. So, okay, now these are the steps to actually analyze the properties. One, you want to find fixers in the preferred areas. You want to check the comps by subdivision. I really go pretty narrow in. I mean, sometimes
Can I take this back real quick for a second? Just because what I'm going to show you takes place prior to what you're about to get into. So, and here, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now I got to just find me real quick. Or can you pass it back to me, or how does that work?
I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Oh, there I am. There I am. Hold on. Here we go. Take it back. And I'll give this right back to you, okay? Show my screen. And here we go. What I wanted you guys to see right here is this. If you look up John Burns, if you go to realestateconsulting, all right, .com, realestateconsulting.com, you're going to be able to click on, let me see if I go to the very first one. If I go to real estate consulting, you're going to come right here. You can go into the investors, and then they're going to ask you for information, and you can go and get into this stuff. Now, this is your U.S. housing market statistics, all right? Data through August 6, 2013. That's where this one is. Shows you growth, all kinds of different stuff you can look at. That one I'm not as impressed with, and I got there by going here for your free market statistics. But when you look at local affordability statistics, all right, what this is showing you right here is 1 through 10, or I'm sorry, 1 through 10, overpriced is in comparison to history, okay? So 7.6 to 10, that's going to be high priced. So what does that mean? Well, let's look at San Jose, for instance. It's a 6.8. So on affordability, it's really getting up towards the top. Well, why? Why would that be? Well, median, not average, median house price is $730,000. with a down payment of $146,000. The median income, though, is $86,000. So $86,000 is what they make. Their average down payment is 169% of their income. Their average, annual mortgage payment is $35,000, which is 41% of their income. Well, when you're leveraged that much, right, that's going to hurt if something happens. If your job goes out, right, now all of a sudden you're jacked up. So where would something good be? Well, let's go down here. Let's see. Let's find, where would Georgia be? Well, I didn't actually look through. Here's Orlando, Florida, right? There's one of your things that you love. Orlando, Florida, 3.5. The income, 149,000 is your median price house. You've got, I think that's what that line is, right? Down payment is 29,000. Now I got to find it again. 47. God, what are these different things? As your median income is like 50 grand in Orlando. And then you've got 63% down payment to income. You're not at 169 though. You know what I mean? So the income is better. The people can live there. That's important if you're going to hold property. That's important if you're going to flip property, knowing, look, can they afford it? When you get done with this, how many people in that area can afford the $129,000 down payment? So that's one. And then you've got this, and this one is really cool, right? Because he's a builder. So the things that he started looking up was, and tell me if you can figure out why this is important, in Alabama right here, or here, let's go to, what do we've got? We've got Georgia, right? Atlanta, yeah. Georgia. So where would I find Georgia? Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia had 849 new single family permits pulled. So in the last 12 months, they've had, like I just said, where'd it go? Man, this is so dumb that they don't make that thing scroll down here. 11,000 permits pulled. 18,000 or almost 19,000 permits, and that's a 25% half of it. Month total permits. So 18,000 monthly total permits, which means you've got new permits, right, for new building construction, and then you've got rehab stuff, right? Somebody's going in, they're getting pulling a permit for this, pulling a permit for that. So total of 18,000 permits. Why is that important? Because it's telling you that not only are there new buildings going up, right, new, I don't know, shopping centers, new single family homes, all that stuff, but in addition, there's remodeling going on. So you know that the economy is coming back up, right? There's a lot of action happening. And when you've got a lot of action, there's a reason for it, right? There's got to be a demand. Nobody's fixing things. For instance, let's look at Decatur, Alabama. 101 single family permits pulled, 101 total monthly permits pulled. So is anybody rehabbing there? No, they aren't. They're probably adding on to their existing mobile home. 14% permits, or what is that? Permits to peak permits. So they're only at 14% of their of when they've been at their top, right? And is that important? Yes. So let's go back to Georgia, Atlanta. They're 25% of their peak. 25%. They're at 18,000 permits being pulled, and that's only 25% of their peak. So can they still go up? Absolutely. Now let's get into what's that?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to point out too, you've probably got Austin, Texas in there, and we're seeing new builds like crazy right now. That's because of the anticipated demand. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about. You know, when you analyze things like this, it's this, you take this data, you take that
20,000.
And where are we from our peak? We're at 79%. Mm-hmm. We got building happening like crazy here.
Yeah, which shows that, right? Because at your peak, you were slammed, right? I mean, that's what you would think is at the peak, they were building a lot.
Right.
You're saying a lot of buildings happening.
Now, when you look at Austin, with that 79%, and the whole economy is just kind of starting to, take that curve, is there a risk of us overbuilding?
Now, watch. So check it out. So here's the next two things. Employment, right? 1 year growth rate. All right. So if you're looking here, they apparently had 300 and they're down. Is that minus 300? I'm not sure. Yeah.
Minus.
Minus. They're down 6%.
Alabama.
So you've got, yeah, Alabama, right? Okay. 1% or 7.1% unemployment rate. Median home price is 95%. Housing to income is 19%. All right. So this is why this is going to be important, because now we can slide down here and we can look back at Georgia again and we can go, okay, median price is 116,000, which is 16% of your housing cost to income. Is that good? Do you want to be in an area where it's only 16% of their income for housing?
That's right. The cost of living there is phenomenal. The houses I've been seeing are huge. When we get to these examples, you're just going to be blown away. Right. And so, it's the #1 relocation destination. Is there a better place to?
I don't think so. Now I've got a question, guys. Is this cool? This information, the everything that Gina showed you so far, and then the realestateconsulting.com, these two different things, right? When you start using all of these things together, you're starting to get a platform. You're starting to get a diagram, a direction. You realize what you want and where it's going to be, right? And to me, this is why I love doing what we do. So, excuse me, I hope you guys are getting plenty of information here. If you guys have any questions, make sure you do ask, and I will turn this back over to you, Jean.
Okay, I'll take it. Okay, show my screen. Okay. Okay, so you need to find some houses in distress, and you want to find the comps by subdivision. I do just a really close-in comps because, most subdivisions are built the same way, and just for my assurance, sometimes I'll go like out a half a mile, but I want to take a look at the close-in comps. We're going to take a deep dive into the property and the property's potential and the exit strategy. Determine the rehab strategy, which is if you're going to rehab it for rental versus rehab for resale, you're going to treat it differently, and then determine what your offer price is. And you know something, it doesn't really matter what the asking price is. You determine your offer price. Okay, so I went into ListingBook, and I have an account that my realtor gave me, and I searched for Cobb County, North Atlanta, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, or higher. And there's a little checkbox for fixer upper. And I know this is going to be hard to see, but here's a list of properties that they say, yeah, these are fixers. These need work. And so I look at the price point, and I just, selected one. I just select one. Here's one that is on Carrollwood Lane. Kind of an interesting property. I looked at it. They're asking $295,000. In the remarks section down below, great price for this 3-2 in popular Meadowbrook. It's got a big lot, backs up to the woods, sold as is. Bring your renovators or builders, not in a flood zone, which is supposedly really, really good.
Yes, so, not being in a flood zone would be really good.
Yeah, I mean, this is a small house on a large lot. That's one of the things that as I've been researching Atlanta, there's a lot of land, a lot of room to play. That's awesome. So I went, and there's a little tab that says area sales, and this is the information that I got. This is a little 1,344 square foot house, 57 years old, and they want $295,000 for it. Now, I see that there's another one on the same street. It's a little bit bigger, and it sold for $375,000. There's a couple more in the neighborhood here that are huge and are not old. One's a brand new build, 3,600 square feet, and sold for $756,000. And then here's another one that's 10 years old and sold for $430,000. So really, when I look at this, I'm saying, okay, I've got a choice here. I can figure my comp. My comp's probably going to be about probably $375 at this point, because it is kind of a rising market. My comp will be at $375, and I can keep it at that square footage, renovate it, or I could possibly look at adding square footage or even scraping the home and doing a new build. Now this is what Zillow shows. The actual house is, Pete, do they see my mouse when I'm?
Yes.
Okay, so the actual house is this one, $295,000. There's one for sale for $439,000. We don't know the level of rehab on these houses. We're just seeing pictures. We're just seeing what's around here. And, I want to, and what I'm seeing here is a disparity, real disparity of the prices. So, like I said, 439, then here's that $889,000 property. So it kind of makes me wonder what's going on in this neighborhood, and it just looks to me like this is a neighborhood that is prime for adding square footage or doing a new build. Realty Trac has some comps as well. I like to look at several different sources for comps so that I can have that level of confidence of, make sure that nothing's a anomaly.
Right.
So here's the house in question that I was looking at, and I got all this data from Realty Trac also. The owner's name, the original purchase price. So we bought it in 1988 for $120,000. It is not a former drug lab, and there is not one within 1 mile. So that's good news.
No. Oh, great news. Oh, I get it. I got it. Okay, never mind. I thought.
There's no building permits found, and that's important to know if there's building permits or not. That means he hasn't done anything to the house since 1988. So it's a fixer. And then just some price comparisons on what's going on with this home and with that zip code.
Wow.
So for me, looking at that, these are our options. One, we could rehab. I think it's priced too high as a rehab. They're asking too much money, I think. But, I kind of like having big spreads, for safety nets. But, I really think that the comp, if you fixed it up, would be $375,000. Probably be about a $30,000.
Go backwards from that anyways. I mean, what they're asking is, that doesn't matter. It's what we can pay is what matters.
It doesn't matter. You're going to offer what you're going to offer. So, right. I mean, with the way the numbers work, I was thinking about $250. But, this would work out really nicely. Now,
but a $45,000 drop in a price isn't that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, if they're having a trouble selling it, that is something that is legitimate and could happen.
Exactly. And, if they don't take your offer the first time, you go back in a few weeks, see how they're feeling. No doesn't mean no. It means not this
way
now. Or not right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So the other option is to add square footage. You assume 100 to 120 square foot pricing to add 2,000 square feet. You can either add or build or whatever. And just by my analysis, you're all in at $580,000. You got a potential gross profit of $176,000 minus the selling costs of $100,000, which I figure just 10-15% of, and that doesn't include the holding costs. So by adding square footage, you've got the possibility of making $100,000, or if you add square footage and you get it priced right, I think you're going to make more. So my choice would be to get it priced, to get it at my price, and rehab it. Oh, look, I said $220,000. Okay.
There you go. 220.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. Here's another example. Do you want me to speed through these, or
yeah,
or do you want to go?
That was good. That was awesome. I liked it.
Okay. This is another one in Marietta, which is a really nice area. They've got like one of the best school districts there. And so here they're asking $199. It's an estate property. They've started the renovations. But they're not finished. So I like that because I want to know how much left we have to do. And of course, you always want to look at the pictures. I just didn't put the pictures in here just for time's sake. I mean, because I'm really looking at the numbers. Now here's a interesting comp on the same street. This is it's a 43-year-old house, huge, 3,300 square feet. They're asking $199,000. Now here's a comp, same age. Almost, like what, two-thirds the size, and they sold it at $262. So at $130 a square foot versus $58 a square foot. Now, when you're dealing with huge houses, you want to do a little bit more research in the area to see if there are any other huge houses, because otherwise you're not going to get the value on per square foot. So, okay, so what does Zillow show? I see, let's see, our property is right here at $199. Here's a solid comp, $335. There's a $295. I don't know what the shape of that house was. you know, somebody's got something for sale here at 135, which might be worth looking into. Since we were looking at this one, we might want to take a look at that one. And then there's some other comps here. These are all of the properties that are over 3,000 square feet. That's what I put in the filter. So I'm thinking the solid comp is going to be 335. Now, oh, that's what this is. This is an auction. So this is different. So but you can't even count that price. That price doesn't mean anything because the auction price, that's where they started. It'll end up being at about 200,000. So I'm going to assume.
Well, I think it's also important to share that, you know, everything that you're talking about is all preemptive. It's all to understand the market before going in, but you still have to have a really good realtor on the ground that is going to then give Jean the real comps and go, okay, yep, you were close. Here are the actual properties, pictures of the properties, all the numbers, everything. There you go, right? You're not completely basing every future you have off of these tools.
No. And in fact, I will get my realtor involved if I get a counter offer. I made an offer. If I get a counter offer, I'll say, will you give me a sanity check on this? And they get into the MLS and, you know, tell me if I'm on target or not.
Very cool. I like that. All right, keep going.
Okay, here's another one. A little bit. This one's on the east side. This is an interesting property too. They're wanting $79,000 for it. East Atlanta. You know, again, an older home and it needs work. You know, here's something that's interesting.
Oh man, I can't hear you right now. I don't know if everybody else can hear you or not. But am I all by myself? Can you guys hear her? Is it just me? Can everybody hear me? Can you not hear me? Can you hear me and not hear her? Nobody's responding to me. Okay.
You know, I would like that kind of spread. You know, even if it was a gut rehab, it would still be an okay spread. So, you know, this intrigues me. Now, it looks like somebody else got a really good deal at 64. You know, and you don't know what these prices are. Again, you don't know if these are rehabbed. You don't know if these are distressed. You know, so it's worthy of further investigation.
Got it. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
That was really weird. You were talking and I nobody could hear me. And okay, never mind.
Oh, poor Pete.
It was like 5 minutes I was talking. Nobody could hear me. I couldn't hear you. I wasn't sure what was going on. I didn't know if they could hear me and not hear you or what. But nobody was responding to me. And so I guess we're all good now. But everybody can hear everybody now. So now we're good.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So here are some comparable listings according to Realty Trac. You know, again, I'm seeing the 200,000, you know, for majority, and then comparable sale. Oops, what did I do? Comparable sales are lower. So you know, again, this is where I probably call my realtor and say, you know, what's going on with this property?
Got it.
Okay, exit strategy on this one, rehab to resell. I've got ARV at 130, and I'm being very conservative. I say offer 60,000. It's been on the market for a while. Owner paid 40,000 for it in 2008, so it's not like I'm going to be hurting him if I give him a lower offer. It's currently
and you need to. I mean, the bottom line is we're not getting in this to lose money, right?
That's right.
You can't be emotional about it. The fact is that we need to ensure that we're protecting our profit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a few other addresses that if anybody wants to go on their own to practice with, I just, you know, they caught my interest and I just didn't, you know, I thought 3 was enough to,
yeah, you know, to absolutely the show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, now here's one that I looked at. It's kind of a high-end rehab, and you know, this is one of those things you have to be really careful on, and you have to understand your numbers, know your numbers, and stand by your numbers. Here's a house that sold in December for $530,000, and these are just such awesome houses on a half an acre, you know, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, almost 3,000 square feet. And in the description, they say it was a $125,000 remodel, which I think is kind of high, but, you know, I don't know what happened. Now, one of the things that Zillow does is give you a pricing history, so I could go back and see what they did. Here's, they sold it, you know, he bought it in 2012 for $420,000 and then sold it for $530,000. So
A year
420.
later.
Yes, so he had holding costs. So 420 plus 125 is going to be what, 545? Plus he had holding costs. You know, I suspect there's a loss that happened there. So you have to be really, really, really positive about your numbers, and you know, just watch out.
Making sure that it's ensuring that your numbers are correct. Again, not getting emotionally blinded by a deal, and making
And
sure that
it's
what you're looking at is real. And if you
right.
well, okay, but what about, Gene? What about if it's, this is my 50th attempt at putting in an offer? I mean, I want to get it accepted this time.
Yeah. No,
You really
no, you do not want to
get a
lose
deal that
money.
you don't get, a deal that you're upside down in now with investors, and see how fun that deal is, and you're gonna wish that you're back at 50 with no accepted offers. I mean, in a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're absolutely right. There's a lady that's in my networking group. She says she's got money in her IRA. It's just sitting there. She's got to do something with it soon. And I'm like, just be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient.
You
It
don't
will
want to
come.
piss it away. I mean, you don't want to throw it away, right?
Right.
You gotta make sure that what you're doing is a good idea. So, that's part of the reason why we wanted to go over this with you guys, and show you guys really why we're going to Atlanta. What made Atlanta such a great market for us to target? Why are we going there and looking for opportunities, and going to go there and literally pull the trigger on, April 11th through 13th? It's about creating opportunity that everybody can get involved in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So when you are looking at the numbers, make sure you've got enough profit built in for a trip or two to that destination if you're rehabbing, or hire, add an extra $5,000 or something to hire a project manager to monitor it for you. Things happen, glitches happen, and sometimes you just have to go out there. Get many references for contractors. Didn't we just talk about that at the beginning of this?
Yes, we
You
did.
need to have as many contractors, as many resources as you can. Solicit help in that local area. Again, pay a local person for help. In places like Atlanta, Florida, Chicago, I mean, people are willing to help. Some people just want to learn about real estate investing and say, Gene, what do you want me to do? I'll go take some pictures for you. And
Right.
in turn, that we'll look over the pictures together, and they'll see what I see. And they just love that. So if you're wholesaling, share your profits with the local wholesaler if they bring you a buyer. There's nothing wrong with that. That's my best.
Spreading
That's my
opportunity.
best wholesaling that way.
Yeah. Spreading opportunity. Absolutely.
Yeah. Be very careful. If you're new to real estate investing, be aware of how you invest your funds. So many people are new, they're excited, and there are some really shady characters out there that will take advantage of your enthusiasm.
Did you
Just
just
be
say
very
of your
careful.
enthusiasm and look down like you were looking?
I was trying to find the right word.
I'm just showing you what that looked like. This is what you got. Your enthusiasm. That's what you just did.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, I was trying to find the right word, but I've just seen it too many times where people are enthusiastic, and there are people out there willing to help you, and they can pave the way and make it easy for you, et cetera, et cetera. And then they'll ask you for money. So be careful. Get references from everybody that you do business with. If you're going, this is critical, and I've seen too many people that have gotten burned because they didn't do this. It's really important. I have one of my money partners, nice as can be. I pick up the phone, hey Joe, I've got a deal, you want in on it? And even though we're good friends, we trust each other, we still file something in the county, and you can file something as small as a notice of interest. So if you're going to be investing with somebody, make sure there is something that is filed, a notice of interest or something, so that somebody doesn't sell the house out from under you.
That's good.
Yeah. Do you have an IRA? There is a little known investing strategy using a self-directed IRA. And if you don't know much about that, really look into that. So a lot of people don't realize that they can really make more money using their IRA investing in real estate. even if it's buying a rental property, you're going to be growing your IRA much faster than, if it's just sitting there earning 0.25% interest.
Right.
Yeah. Now, all the profits go back to the IRA, so you need to be aware of that. So you'll have a bigger IRA when it comes time for you to retire.
Yeah, that's rough, right? As opposed to having the IRA where you look back at it and you're like, hold on, I had like 100 grand last year. What happened to my money?
That happens. So I don't have any one place that you can go to for that, but I've heard Quest, UDirect, IRA, and there's more. I'm sure everybody's, there are some good ones and some that are very frustrating to deal with. But I've heard good things about those too.
Yeah, UDirect. I've heard Karen Hall. Heard really
Karen
good
Hall,
things about her.
Yeah. Now I do. Yeah, I do weekly calls, and I had Karen on one of my calls, and she was just a wealth of information. So
she is. Did I introduce you to her?
I found her at the non-performing note seminar in Las Vegas. So,
but I got Jillian Sidoti to you.
You did, and she was awesome. She was on last week's call, and if you're registered for my calls, you do have access to the recordings. And you, if you go to my site, you can register.
I was going to say, how do they get registered for those calls?
Yeah, it's jeannorton.com/Jean's calls.
Okay, perfect. So everybody can go there real quick and get registered for those calls. And then if you guys do that, this is how awesome your weeks will be. It'll be Monday with Pete, Tuesday with Pete, then Tuesday evening, Experts Corner, Wednesday, Success Series, Thursday, you've got the radio show and Bird Dog Call at 6 o'clock, Friday, the radio show, Saturday, Jean's Call, Sunday, Pete's Journey to Success. Man, every single day you're getting hit with motivation.
Right. That's right, and some good information.
That's right, every day.
Every day. That is so awesome. Okay, why join us in Atlanta? Well, pre-vetted experts to help us understand the Atlanta market and distance rehabbing. I know Ivan and I both have some stories to tell about that.
Yes.
Experienced investors and rehabbers, we're there. We'll share our experiences. We are open. We don't mind, telling you. So even some of the hard things to talk about, we don't mind sharing. Learn from our experiences and our successes. You're going to have hands-on property visits, and we're going to talk about what type of construction you're going to do for that particular property. What are the big gotchas? I know, like in Tampa, there's sinkholes, and I think in Atlanta, Keith was telling us about termites, and here, we've got foundation problems here in Austin.
Phoenix, you've got swamp coolers are big out there.
Yeah.
You got to worry about the water, man, because the swamp coolers are off of water, and people get them on the roofs, right? And now you've got all this water damage because there's a swamp cooler up there, and it's because it's 1,000,000 degrees during the winter, during the summer, running a AC unit would cost you thousands of dollars. I mean, crazy.
Yeah. So and by coming to Atlanta, you will be armed with knowledge and be part of our team, or you'll be invited to be part of our team.
Yes, you'll be armed with knowledge. Did you see
Plus,
armed? I'm armed.
We are giving away a free house.
We are doing that.
We are.
That's pretty exciting, right?
I've never heard of that before.
I mean, that's and the thing is you could literally come to the training, you get involved in a JV deal, and you win the house. Man, you've got a free house. You got trained for free, and you're in a flip or a hold property as well. I mean, just opportunities are crazy, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to create a situation where you would almost be crazy to say it's not worth it, because it is, and it is from all avenues. If you've gone back and looked at our reputation, I mean, you can Google my name. You can look me up. I haven't been sued. I don't have lawsuits. I don't have bad things. I don't lie to people. We're not telling you that you can come out here and be rich in a month. That's not going to happen. But you can come out and get a new lease on life. You can come out and learn a new way to do something. You can come out and get involved in real estate right now and start jettisoning your life in a new direction. And so that in a year, your life is significantly different. But it's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a week or in a month. It's going to happen over time through consistency. That's my 2 cents.
That's true. But wait, there's more.
Okay. Yes. Man, you said, but wait, you got me scared there for a second. Okay, I'm coming. I'm waiting. I'm stopped. I'm stopped now. I'm not doing anything. I'm stopped. Tell me what's going on.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
If you sign up by Friday at midnight,
What?
I'm giving
Okay.
a few days, but we've got some awesome bonuses for you. You've got the report that I wrote, the 5 styles of contractors and how to manage them. And then I've got the fine print, AKA how not to lose a fortune because of your contractor. It can happen. That is
Yes,
an
it can.
incredible, yeah, and that's an
It
incredible,
typically is when you lose the most time. I mean, that's the if there was
that's,
one thing that
yeah,
caused more people to lose more money, it's the
yeah.
contractor effing you over. I mean, hold on, I'm sorry. It's the let me say that more appropriately. It's the contractor you over.
Okay. We've got a report. Pete's got the report, the 5 best places to meet cash investors for your projects.
That's right. 5 best
And
places, and they aren't where you think they would be. A lot of people are
I
going to
know.
say real estate investment association. That isn't one of the. Everybody's going there to meet cash investors, right? So that's not one of them. I promise you, it's 3 of them I already did. 2 of them I was like, holy cow, that's actually a good idea. I never even thought of that. So
I
yeah,
know.
I'm excited. So yep, we're gonna give that away. And by the way, we should call these Gene's. I want to say because you dragged it out of all of us because you're such a vindicator of sorts of people. And so you wanted to make sure you provided a ton of value, and I thought that was awesome.
And Pete and Ivan's cash flow calculator. And that is incredible. I mean, again, only the people that register before Friday. Now, first of all, I want to remind you there is the early bird discount still going on. You put in early bird in the discount code, you get $500 off.
Oh crap!
But if you register before this Friday, you'll get these 3 bonuses, and those are incredible. If you wait till after Friday, you still get the $500 early bird discount, but you don't get these bonuses. So, in closing, April in Atlanta, April 11th through 13th, we're going to be at the Hampton Inn at the Perimeter Center. We'll be buying some houses. You're going to learn about leveraging funds rarely used to achieve long-term wealth and partner with us on your first deal, or you can go out on your own. And the link to register, c2creia.com/action.
Action.
Action. I know it.
We should have had the
Acquisition.
lights, camera, action, and then I could tell everybody that.
When we started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom.
I don't know why. Never mind. I'm sorry. Keep going.
That's all right.
I'll stop.
We're going to be taking action here. So if you've been frustrated, if you haven't been able to get a deal, you felt all alone. I mean, this is really the opportunity to, make some changes in your life. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just delighted to have met up with Pete and Ivan, and we're going to have Scott Travis is going to be there, and Keith Grogan, and a bunch more other people. So, and the room only holds so many people. So I would recommend that you take advantage of those bonuses and go ahead and register as soon as you can, because I'd hate for you to miss out. So, are there any questions?
Only 30 spots. So once we're full, and I think we already have 7 or 8 people that have already registered for it. So I think we only have 23 spots left at this point. And then Clyde wanted to tell you, thank you, Gene. We don't have swamp coolers in Texas, Houston and
No.
Sugar Land area. We are getting going in the Houston market.
Yeah. Well, now you know how to check out the Houston market.
That's right. You can do it. You can do all of it from a distance. And here's the other thing, guys. If honestly, I know a lot of people are going to be listening on the podcast as well, and I want you to realize that the time, the essence, the time to make something happen is right now. Waiting to another time doesn't make sense. Why are you going to procrastinate getting involved in real estate, especially in an environment when we're saying that, look, what you're going to pay, it's $2,000, but you're going to get, or you put in early bird, you get $500 off. Honestly, I don't think there's really a difference between the two. I don't know why that really would inspire anybody. It's a deposit towards a deal. And if you're coming, you should be thinking, I'm going to be getting into a deal. And if you're thinking you're going to be getting into a deal, you should be thinking it's probably going to be more than $1,500 that you're going to be getting involved with, right? But the cool part is we're bringing hard money lenders there. We're bringing alternative financing there. So maybe you're getting in just as a gap lender, or maybe you're getting in and you're like, no, I don't want to even pay the hard money. I'd rather make the hard money points. And so you're becoming the hard money on the property. I mean, there's all kinds of different options. But if you don't take action, there are no options. There's none. Because you're going to sit at home like you've been doing for the last however many months, days, whatever. So get involved and take action. We're telling you here, this is a way for you to get into real estate investing, get into real estate investing to a higher level. Instead of going and having one coach, you could go and have 5. As long as you're willing to take action, as long as you're willing to get outside of your comfort zone, we're willing to help you. And we're willing to do whatever it takes to create your dream and your reality. But you have got to be willing to do whatever it takes too. And that's kind of my 2 cents, is that, when they talk about creating pain and stuff, we paid way more than, I would have loved to only pay $1,500 to learn how to do real estate when I learned. It was way more than that. And the amount of information that I gathered from that was way less than what they're going to get by going to where we're going. And I just think that, I don't know, man. If I was doing it by myself, I would offer, like I've always offered, a money back guarantee, because I've always thought that, there's no way when you go out with me, you're going to love what you do. But we've got 5 people involved. There's a lot more things going on. And I think the fact, if you can't see the value, then I guess you can't see the value. And that's okay too, because I am going there to buy properties and to flip properties and to hold properties. And I think that's the coolest part of all, is that you could literally go there and watch us doing it. I've never seen anybody do that. I know I keep going back to that, but it's because I haven't. And every time I've ever been out, it's always been, well, I want to watch you guys do it. How do I watch you guys do it? How do I get there and watch you guys do it? No, I can't do it in front of you. I can't. We're not allowed to do that. You've got to do it on your own. We've got to give you 3 different options. We've got to let you go out and be stupid and make mistakes. That's literally what they're saying, because they don't want any liability. And I'm saying that's dumb. If we know what we're doing, the liability is a lot less. It's mitigated to a huge degree. Does that make sense? Because we know what we're doing. We know what we're looking for. Does that mean, Jean, though, that there's nothing that could go wrong?
Something will always surprise you.
It'll always surprise you. And I'm not saying that somebody's going to come by and run over the house or burn it down with a matchstick, but I am saying that nothing is guaranteed. And so we have to realize that we've got to mitigate the risk as much as possible and then take action, period. You've got to take action, though. And that's why we called this c2crea.com/action. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. And this is your time to actually go and take action. You can go right now to c2crea.com/action and sign up. It's super easy. Everybody that signs up prior to Friday that I see, I will make sure that I get you all 3 of the bonuses. And if you've already signed up, and I know that I think I had one person already email me that I saw come through going, hey, I signed up. Do I get those? Yes. You've already been there, so not a problem. We will go ahead and get those to you as well. And at this point, I want to bring up, if you guys have any questions that you guys need, please let us know. Go ahead and ask those at this point. I hope that we've really provided a lot of entertainment and information to you guys tonight. I look at what time it is, Jean.
I know that's good. It's not 90 minutes yet.
No, not yet, but it's going to be in 7 minutes. I told you that these things go 90 minutes. That's just,
I know.
You get involved with me and you're always going to give more. It's just the way it is. We're going to be later. We're going to stay later. We're going to give more. It's always,
and we didn't have to skip any of the presentation either. So we were able to go through all the properties I had picked out. So that was great. Good timing.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's all we have for tonight. Anything that you guys have, any questions you have, any other websites to use for info? I mean, there's a ton of them.
Yes.
What was that? Wait, yes. Oh, wait. No, I shouldn't have said it. No, say that.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, no, go.
There's a good one. It's got a ton, an overload of information called City Data, city-data.com. That's a good one. As far as the school systems, greatschools.org, I believe, is the name of it. And there are plenty of free sites out there. Some people ask me, do you use Redfin? Sure, why not? But I just got into a habit of using Zillow, so that's just what I use.
And I typically use the realtors. When we find deals, I'll go in and I'll just go to my realtor. I'll go to who I have looking at deals, Ivan, whatever, and I send them to them too to verify. I mean, the more eyes that see a property, the better. And the fact that, there's different sites you can use, but you're, again, and this is coming from you, Mike, so I'm going to say this. Don't get over crazied about the amount of different sites you can have. You're going to get lost in information again. It's not about getting lost in information. It's not about how many sites can you have for free that you can look up information, because who cares? Now you're going to pull up 30 minutes and be distracted by one property, and you still haven't even gotten anything under contract. You still haven't even taken the next step. So focus on and I don't mean like you, Mike. I mean that people, you need to focus on, what do you need to do right now? What do you guys need to do right now? I'm so tired of hearing everybody go, I don't have funding, I don't have this, I don't have that. You don't even have a deal. Get a deal first. Get a deal, then you can start working out the rest, because I guarantee if you have a deal, money will come to you. People go, well, I don't get it. Trust me, I'm looking for a deal. Gene's looking for a deal. I'm telling you right now, if you have a deal, if it's 80% all in, you're in an area where people are selling the properties, you've got low days on market, you are going to not have an issue getting financing, funding, JV, partnering, or any of it. It's when you have a crappy deal.
Yeah, I want to offer something with that too. I mean, we're looking for deals. Like you said, you're looking for deals. Everybody's looking for deals. But you come to this trip, you're going to be networking with people like Pete and Ivan and me and Scott, and we're well connected. At this point, when I get a deal, I've got a list of people I can call. I don't even have to advertise anything. I make a couple of phone calls, and I have to pick which one I want to work with for that deal. So if you have a deal, you'll be networking with us, and then just by rubbing shoulders with us, it's going to raise you to the next level.
And here's the other thing. When we share with you guys how this whole thing works, again, we kind of talked a little bit about it, and I've had a couple of people ask me, well, how does this, I'm getting to that. Thank you. How does the whole weekend work, right? And the way we're kind of working it is, the first day it's going to start at about 8:30, I think. And I mean, it's going to start at 8:30, not we're going to say it starts at 9 o'clock. And then by 10:30 that we've got somebody up front speaking who just decided to show up. I mean, this bad boy is getting popping off right at 8:30. We're going to get into it because there's so much information that I want to make sure that we provide. So time is of the essence to me. We're going to get off started like that. I'll intro the show. We'll intro everybody. Then Jean's going to come up, talk a little bit about like kind of what she just did. Keith's going to go right behind her, talk about his aspect of why Atlanta is the market. Then we cut to lunch. As soon as we come back from lunch, everybody is on the stage for the rest of the time. It's all the entire rest of any kind of classroom work happens with all of us up on stage in a panel form, so that everything that's being asked, everything that's going, any information we're going into is all, you're getting it from 5 different people. And there's going to be a really cool way that we interact. As soon as 5 o'clock happens, typically, right, the main speaker is out of there, man. They're up in their room. They're doing whatever. They get in a limo. They're out of there. We're with you. We're going to go to dinner with you. We're going to plan something. We'll probably get done at like 11 o'clock at night the first night. Jean has made me promise that we will stop at 5, though. So everybody that wants to leave and doesn't want to come out with us has that opportunity. But we want to get to know you. Again, our whole goal of doing this event is to create opportunities. You don't create opportunities by yelling at somebody and then going off and hiding in a room. You create opportunities by getting to know people, by connecting. The only way we can do that is by actually getting to know you and talking to you. So, going out to dinner, going out to lunch, we plan on being connected to you guys for that entire 3 days. At least I do, because my goal is to get connected. My goal is to create relationships, partnerships, and future opportunities down the road. We want to make sure that we're making money with you now and in 5 years, in 10 years. It's not about making money off of you. It's about making money with you. And I think that's where most of, I think everybody makes mistakes, is they're trying to make money off of people instead of trying to make money with them. And when you truly make money with people, man, nobody wants to go anywhere. They all want to stay because it's you care. I care about you succeeding. We're in a deal together. I care. I care about that going well. I don't want to lose money. I want to make money. I'm not all about money, but I'm certainly not in the business of losing money, right? So if we're in it together, then I'm going to care about how that goes forward. I'm going to be communicating with you. Jean's going to be communicating. Ivan, it's like, and the thing is we're all looking to be involved in all of these deals. We all want a little tiny piece of a lot of things so that, you know, if there's 100 properties by the end of this year that we've got going on in Atlanta, right? Let's say we got 50 hold properties. I don't need to have 50% of 50 hold properties. I'm totally cool with owning 10, 15% or 20% of 50 hold properties. I'm okay with getting 20% of $100,000 a month or whatever that could be, right? And wouldn't you be okay with that? So that's why, to me, this is about really creating an opportunity with people, creating opportunity. That's the only word I can use. What do you think, Jean?
I don't know why anybody would hesitate. I mean, at this point, I've never seen anything like this, never heard of anything like this. And, you know, if there's anybody hesitating, you know, tell me why. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this.
I thought you were going to say what I just said was really beautiful, but that's cool.
Oh, okay. Well, what you said was really beautiful.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's
okay.
true.
All right, guys. Well, with that, it doesn't look like we have my antivirus program detected a virus on the site, c2crea.com/action. You know what? I can't. I think that's because that's actually a lead page that's off of a WordPress site. So I actually connected it. And when you launch onto that program, because it doesn't have a Google Analytic, or didn't we talk? Was I talking about that with you? Oh no, I was talking about that with the casting director. We were talking about Google, and she had built a page and saying that, you know, Google, they got you hooked, right? If you don't play into all their Google Analytics and everything else, they can all of a sudden throw up this crazy stuff. Like if you go to, I think it's renttoown.com. It's a site that Ivan is putting together with Vincent, right? And it's all about how to rent to own a property for free, or not for free, to rent to own a property if you don't have good credit, right? Or if you have good credit but don't have whatever reason you can't qualify for financing. Let me rephrase that. So that site's all about that. I went to go check it out and I saw that exact same thing. It's like, we don't really know who this is. And I wrote Ivan and I'm like, bro, what is going on with your site? And he's like, I have no idea. And then when I talked to her, I realized that's what it is. It's all about Google and the way they work things. So everybody's got their own little.
Workaround is you can just go to jeannorton.com/Atlanta.
There you go.
That's another way too. If you're getting any kind of error like that, go to jeannorton.com/Atlanta.
God, keep petting the cat. That's so awesome. Little kitty. Come on, little kitty. Hey, everybody.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Should really come out to the.
This is what I have to deal with
training
every day.
It just looks like you're like, Anyways, okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for being on tonight. Again, I appreciate everything. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate Jean. I appreciate the Experts Corner. And most of all, I appreciate the cat that's right in the frame right now, which is just beautiful. If you guys miss this, man, please don't miss these, because when you listen live, you get to see the video of the whole experience. You get to see that Jean is actually in a clown mask right now. All of you guys right now that are listening in on the podcast, you miss this whole thing. Jean and her dancing cat. And here, see, look at all even. Oh, crap. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. I just knocked out my earplugs. All right. Well, with that, guys, thank you so much for listening and getting crazy with us. I hope you guys are on the show tomorrow on Investing Coast to Coast. We're going to be talking about green investing. That's going to be from 10 to 11 a.m. on c2crea.com/live. That's LIVE. And with that, Jean, did you have anything you wanted to say before we go?
I just check, go ahead and get on my newsletters, get on the calls. I mean, just unbelievable learning. You get the first 2.5 years of my real estate investing experience, and, I'd like to get to know you. That'd be really great.
Get
so
connected.
Thanks, Pete.
You got it, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Have a great week, and we'll see